Hi, thanks for the opportunity. I want to talk about the research paper from Google DeepMind. Some authors are Demis Hassabis and Matt Botwinick, and it was published in Nature in 2020. I believe it deserves more recognition. It's titled A Distributional Code for Value in Dopamine-Based Reinforcement Learning. It kind of bridges the gap between RL and AI and how our brains represent value. This study introduces a very novel perspective on dopamine-based learning that we can call it a paradigm shift, and that's why I think it's very underrated. I must say, this paper influenced my master research so much that I pivoted mine afterwards. So how we learn? Essentially through reward prediction error. To put it simply, it's the difference between what we expect and what we actually observe. Traditionally, we thought that it's a single scalar number that helps us understand the expected outcomes. In the RL literature, they too have this reward function that should be optimized. But what's a game changer here? In pure AI research, people have seen that some distributional reward functions, they sometimes work up to double performance sometimes. And given that observation, authors suggested that our brains may not just consider the expected value of rewards, but underlying our brains may model the probability distributions. What does it mean? So it means that our brains intrinsically model the multiple outcomes at the same times. To validate the idea, they build experiments where they monitor the activity of individual brain cells in mice. So basically, the mice is getting a stochastic reward, some probabilistic reward. And when we look at its VTA, some brain region, we see populations, like two populations, that one is more optimistic neurons and the other one is more pessimistic neurons when we correct for noise and stats. So it kind of tells there is a more complicated mechanism underlying. Also about the dopamine, think of dopamine as the conductor of this reward prediction orchestra. In neuroscience literature from the 80s, back 90s, it was established that dopamine, this already well-known neurotransmitter, plays some significant role in learning. It's like, you can think of it as a US dollar of currencies in brain. Why we need that? Because sometimes we need something to serve as a reference point for comparing decisions, whether it's on mating, on feeling embarrassed, or seeking food. It has it all. We believe that dopamine represents surprise or error as a single number, but this study suggests that dopamine might encode surprise in a more nuanced way, like in a distributional manner. So yeah, to reiterate, in RL models, there is this value signal showing how well everything is going for the agent. And we've seen that not reducing those positive values and negative values to one number led to better policies for the deep reinforcement learning model. The why is still unknown to some extent, but we know it has some richer representation. What I mean is that for example, in this case, positive and negative values have the same average, but not necessarily the same distribution. Well, this model keeps the distributions apart. Okay, let's connect the dots. The study combines AI and neuroscience. If we understand how our brains process rewards, we're not only enhancing the understanding of ourselves, but also we're paving the way for more sophisticated AI systems. Looking ahead, there is a lot of potential emerging AI and neuroscience. Just a year ago, most people did not believe it, but we might be close to creating AGIs as versatile as humans. It's an ambitious goal, but one that could reshape the landscape of our species. I think we should definitely not close our eyes on this space. It's only going to get more exciting. Thank you for your time.